Welcome back to the Untouchaballs podcast. Caden and Leo here. Caden, I know you're not doing well. Your Kansas City Chiefs went down yesterday.
Kansas City. Whoa.
But the Philadelphia Eagles, in justice, in righteous, and goodness prevailed yesterday. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, it was an absolute beatdown. Before we really get into the ins and outs, it was a beatdown from start to finish.
Correct.
By the Eagles. I'm glad that the Eagles beat Mahomes.
Are you?
Yes.
You didn't seem very glad yesterday.
I had money on the Chiefs, so yes, I was rooting for them during the game.
You heard him. You heard him from the Mahomes lover himself.
Whoa, that's where you're wrong, because I'm glad. The reason I'm really glad they lost, now we can't have these talking pundits like Nick Wright yap on social media and on their shows all day about Mahomes is the GOAT. Like, no, he's not. He has had two horrendous Super Bowl performances now. Yes, he's won 3, but he's had 2 just straight duds.
Is that all you have to say?
I mean, yeah, we'll just say, 40-22, Eagles victory, overs hit, Eagles cover, Eagles money line, and the teaser I gave out last week's pot of the plus 7.5 over 42.5, easy cash as well.
What else did we hit? Saquon over 3 receptions plus, bang.
First half cash. Sadly, Jalen Hurts was 4 yards short.
That was actually. I think I went 0 for 3 technically, right?
No Saquon tutties.
We didn't get no Saquon tutties,
which was also surprising.
But on the separate bets that went into the account on my end, we still went positive from Super Bowl Sunday. All right, although you guys not got the good stuff. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean,
we might gotta miss some of those.
Dallas Goedert had a big 20-yard catch in the first quarter.
Great, and on the play action, he had a couple opportunities.
And then he did nothing else the rest of the game. Yeah, got my Saquon. I didn't get the Mahomes MVP, obviously. No. Didn't get that, but yeah, like you're saying, we had some other bets, throughout that did hit. I had the over 47.5 yards for longest field goal.
Yeah.
Jake Elliott did that 3 separate times.
Correct.
So that was nice. And then,
we had A.J. Brown, and I had an A.J. Brown anytime touchdown scorer.
I live bet Devontae Smith touchdown at halftime, set it up. And then, I mean, we had some interesting stuff. Obviously, Jalen Hurts takes home Super Bowl MVP, throwing for 221, 2 tutties, rushed one in on 72 rushing yards as well, which is more than Saquon had 25 carries for 57 yards. So they were able, like I had said, if the Chiefs wanted to win, they were going to have to slow down Saquon. They balled him only 2.3 yards per carry.
They did, and it's crazy because they didn't even need to run with Saquon because they would do, 2 runs. It'd be 3rd and 6, 3rd and 8. Or, whatever. And then all of a sudden, Jalen Hurts is just swinging it. He was, applying pressure downfield. He was connecting with a multitude of targets. And he played a very sound game. Other than the duck, which he got hit on the throw in the second drive, I mean, that was the only bad play, miscue. And even then, it wasn't really his fault.
Yeah, no, he played well. I mean, 17-22, 221, 2 tutties. And then, on the ground, 11 carries for 72 yards.
Oh, yeah.
So when this pocket was collapsed down on me, every time it seemed like he was able to scramble right down, get past all the defenders for at least a 6-7 yard gain every time. Then he broke off a couple big ones, obviously had the tush push to start the game. He just looked great. Then you look at Mahomes, it was an 11.9 QBR for the game.
Oh, my God.
He was getting sacked like no other. This Eagles D-line feasted the entire game.
Caden, what did we talk about with this Eagles team before we get into this game? They are going to be a mismatch for that Kansas City O-line. It's just true. They got so much depth, so much dogs, and then they even had Brandon Graham reactivated off IR coming in. They were hounding, ready to roll. Yeah,
I mean, they only had 7 designed run plays, which is the lowest in any Super Bowl ever. So that's something, and I mean, also the game plan kind of dictated that because you go down, you get the pick off of Hurts, and then Cooper DeJean of all people, first career interception on his birthday, nonetheless.
On his birthday, to the crib
to make it a quick 17-0.
Caden, I mean, and it could have been uglier, even faster if there wasn't a phantom pass interference call on A.J. Brown. Yeah.
That still doesn't make sense.
Didn't make sense, and honestly kind of got us scared that the refs were going to be involved in this game. But credit to them. I think outside of that, they were pretty much on every call the rest of the game. Both ways, they were pretty fair about it.
I would agree. Yeah. The phantom OPI at A.J. Brown. Besides that, it seemed like they did their job, called what needed, didn't try to force their hand or anything.
They didn't at all. And, I mean, it was kind of so one-sided. They didn't even really need to call anything. Yeah. I mean, credit to the Eagles, credit to Vic Fangio, Nick Sirianni, their staff. They were, they out-schemed, they out-prepared, they outplayed. They did everything better than the Kansas City Chiefs. And it was just awesome to see, a team play complete football for 4 quarters like that. And hang 40 in the Super Bowl is always impressive.
Yeah, I mean, really, the only player who really played well for the Chiefs, rookie, Xavier Worthy, hook him.
He did.
But 8 for 157 and 2 tugs. That's a ball. Like, obviously, the numbers might be a little inflated.
I mean, all those kind of came in garbage time.
He had that 50-yard bomb in garbage time. But still, even before that, he still had a really good game.
Yeah.
If any of you were Xavier Worthy bettors, you all were happy.
Gosh.
Like our friend Daniel, he had an Xavier Worthy touchdown. He got that nice. He's like, betting on Xavier Worthy was the right play in this game.
Was.
If you were to bet anyone on this Chiefs offense, he should have been the one. Not Travis Kelce like you did.
But to be fair,
or Patrick Mahomes like I did.
Travis Kelce probably could have got to a 7 if he didn't play so garbage and dropped the first 3 balls that he got. Hit him
there
in the
was
hands.
a couple, yeah.
And for for the first time in a long time in a playoff game, Mahomes and Kelce just weren't on the same page.
No, not at all. You would see, at the start of that game, they're trying to do their normal little dink and dunk to each other.
It wasn't working.
And Mahomes wasn't throwing it at his chest, throwing it more towards the knee. And Kelce just wasn't really catching it.
And the Eagles linebackers were frustrating Kelce. We saw, that first position by the Chiefs. Kelce's, flustered. And I think that was the big thing, is the Chiefs lost the mental battle early. You could see it by the body language, the players on the sidelines, the Chris Jones dropping to his knees and all that stuff. Just the body language was poor. They went down, they panicked, and they really just couldn't figure anything out. And I loved every bit of it, Caden.
Yeah, and I mean, speaking of these Eagles linebackers frustrating Mahomes and Kelce, all-pro breakout star this year, Zach Bond, also was able to pick off Mahomes in that first half to really, I mean, the tide had already shifted, but he makes that nice little play, and now it's 24-0 after that ensuing drive. That game, I mean, 17-0, you're like, okay, maybe we could still see a good game out of this. Chiefs come back. Zach Bond makes his interception, and then it was ball game from there.
It was ball game from there, Caden. You could see it on the Chiefs' faces, and you know what? Congratulations to the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah, I mean, good for them. I mean, these are 2 of my least favorite NFL teams.
Yeah.
So it's not an enjoyable Super Bowl. I wish we would have got a good game, but I'm glad we can't have all these Mahomes riders talking all this offseason.
Roll the clips now, Caden, please, when you're editing this, of you talking to Mahomes before this game.
No, I thought the Chiefs were going to be able to win this game. I do. I'm glad we don't have to hear people, like I said earlier, like Nick Wright trying to claim he's the GOAT now.
Leave Nick Wright alone. He ain't do nothing to you.
I don't like Nick Wright, okay? It's that simple.
All right. Anyway, we had some other championships occur.
Hold on.
Wait.
But before this, as football season's now over, if you follow us on Instagram at Untouchaballs _ Make sure, because we post a bunch of bets, and we had all our picks against the spread for college and NFL throughout this whole year. We do about 5, 6 maybe of each week. We started about week 4, so from week 4 till the end of the season, we had all our picks. In the NFL, so when you look at it, if you weren't betting, assuming it's a minus 110 line, you want to be hitting about 56% of your picks against the spread to be able to be a profitable bettor. In the NFL this year, we had 88 games that we bet on in the NFL. In those 88 games, that we picked against the spread. We had 88 games that we picked against the spread in the NFL.
There we go.
For those, I was 49, 37, and 2. So that's 57%. For the NFL, I was actually a profitable bettor this year. The prop bets weren't the greatest, but the spreads were good for me. I mean, obviously, because I was going through earlier today, finding these exact numbers and percentages. Started the year off amazing. At one point, I was hitting at almost a 70% clip. And then towards the end of the year in playoffs, it was not a good playoffs for me, especially spread-wise. But we still ended up as a profitable bettor. Mex was 42, 44, and 2. So a 49% clip. There's a couple here there there's a couple bad beats throughout the year that really could have flipped you over.
Correct. There was games, where it came down to literally 1 point or one play. And not only that, as you guys know in this pod, I'm a big underdog guy. So I'm already riding, at a disadvantage. But I just, have a feeling for these underdogs. Sometimes I call crazy. I mean, sorry, blurt that out. But I really do. I kind of say, what's on my heart, what I think could happen, and live by the sword, die by the sword. 49% clip. Might as well be 50. You betted a couple underdogs in there, profit's going to be up anyway.
Hey, well, it's against the spread. It's still pick 'em lines.
We know.
But, hey, Oh, it's the first year going through. If we can go up next year, and I get more to that 60%, that's great. Mex gets more to about 55, get that league average. We're looking good. College is where we really need to get a step up.
No.
What I'm thinking is this upcoming year, we're talking about more group of 5 schools, not just ranked matchups. Because we never talked about these group of 5 schools, and that's where my bread and butter is in college. Is these group of 5 schools. I was a 43% better in college, 29 and 39. You were a better, 31 and 37 at a 46% clip. So college football is obviously interesting this year.
I was going to say, this year was 12-team a big outlier year, I'd say, for college football.
The playoffs really hurt our
100%. Yeah, I don't, even when, I would predict the correct winner, I would always pick the wrong spread.
Yeah.
I would always say who was going to win correctly for the most part, but if we were going against the spread, it just never worked out.
So, obviously coming into this next season, we're still going to be doing a lot of these ranked matchups. Don't be surprised if we have more games in there, though, where we see Akron against Western Kentucky matchup, because that's where we can make some good.
We'll throw some D2 games down in there next year, maybe.
I don't know if we can really bet on those, but possibly.
If there's got a line for D2 games, we're going to be on it.
Talk about shattering for you, Tucker Peterson.
There we go, baby.
So, on the year for football, I was 78, 76, and 2, so 51% clip when we combine NFL and college. Mex was 73, 81, and 2, so 47%. So, not great, but not bad for our first full season of stuff. So, there's obviously stuff to build on, but we're going to come back bigger and stronger for this next season.
Yes, we are, Caden. Now, before I jump the gun, we had some other championships.
Yes, we did.
And a card that turned out to be pretty solid, right? It wasn't a world beater card, but it was a pretty solid performance. And I think, the fans enjoyed their time. What would you say? Yeah,
UFC 312 was obviously not the most stat card with name value or anything like that, ranked matchups, anything like that. But we got treated to some good fights.
We did.
We got a couple master classes in the championship fights. Before we get there, we'll start at the start of the main card, where Jake Matthews beat Francisco Prado by decision. Or if you look at, like I said, look at our Instagram best bets. I had Jake Matthews by decision on there. So if you followed that, you would have got that at plus money. He goes. And, he just had a good fight against Francisco Prado. Was a really young, it seemed like an aggressive fighter. And Matthews was able to just put it to him.
Yeah, most definitely can. We kind of said he was going to be able to strike, keep his range and, just stick and poke his way to a decision. We kind of saw that. Although credit because, Prada was, a game opponent. He was on a bang. He threw some punches back. And it really did make for an entertaining fight for a 3-rounder to open up the card.
Yeah, then this second fight, we got a draw.
We did get a draw.
This was the last fight I had on my parlay, my little DraftKings Profit Boost parlay. So luckily, my other 2 hits was still cashes. But I lost my Profit Boost because didn't have my 3 legs because of this. Rodolfo Bellato and Jimmy Crute draw because of a 10-8 round in the first.
Correct, Caden. This fight opened up and we're like, oh no, Jimmy Crute's going on a tear. Caden's bet's going to bust.
Exactly.
And he looked really solid. He's had those great takedowns. He was, grappling. He was in dominant mounting position. And then he just said, I'm not going to wrestle the rest of the fight.
Yeah.
He just completely gave up on that game plan. And I think that is where he messed up, Caden. Because then we saw, as the fight went on, he wasn't able to push the pace. And on the feet, he just got out-clipped. He got outstruck. And he was always just a second behind in those exchanges, outstruck for him to end up ultimately drawing after such a great opening round.
Well, yeah, you have this great opening round that it's 10-8. You outstruck him 45-2 in the first round.
Yeah.
You were absolutely dominant in this first round. Then you're like, let's just stand and bang us. Let's not do what I absolutely dominated him with in the opening 5 minutes. Let's try something different. And then, Bellato ends up winning the next 2 rounds in most people's eyes. One judge still ended up giving it to Crute. But then, the other 2 had a 28-28 draw, so majority draw. And it's basically like this fight never happened.
Yeah, most definitely. It's a blank. That's always weird on the record draws. It's like you said, Caden, it's almost like you're in the same position. Can't really change, can't go up. And, I hate to say it, but it's almost like you have to just rematch the fight in a sense. But who knows? Matchmaker decision.
Our next fight, though, was a good debut
Ah.
for one fighter. Not great for people who were backing Justin Tafa in front of some home fans, as Tyson Teixeira hits him with one elbow, and the fight's over in 35 seconds.
Caden, this might have been one of the most pitiful, just sorry, unfortunate heavyweight appearances I've ever witnessed. Tafa comes in. He just doesn't even look ready to bang. Looks out of shape. Looks small. Looked nervous, right? I didn't really like his body language in the walk-up. And I'm like, all right, whatever. We're going to give him the benefit of the doubt. Comes in. First elbow that lands. Didn't even cut him. Didn't knock him out. Just landed on the eye. Drops immediately to his knees.
And just curls up.
Position. Curls up to a ball. Cowardice. He took one elbow and gave up.
And then tries to complain that the ref stopped the fight when he was doing nothing to protect himself or even try to fight back.
Even the worst, because that's how you know he just didn't want to be in there. You could tell I gave up, and I had to make it look like I didn't give up, so I'm going to protest the stoppage. He didn't want to fight. He took one elbow, and like you said, didn't knock him out. He chose to drop to his knees and shell up. It was just very underwhelming.
It was a very, underwhelming is the right word. It's a very anticlimactic finish. And like usually you see, especially like if you see a knockout TKO in the heavyweight division, it gets people and the fans going.
It knocks someone out.
You see this, the crowd's barely going crazy. They're like, okay, I guess that happened. Yeah.
And it sucks for Teixeira because it almost like
kind of discredits him a little bit.
Discredits him, but he came in looking good, right? We're getting a potential heavyweight prospect who's long, who could swing, we didn't even see much, but 8-0, and it's going to be exciting to see what he can do. But again, we don't know if he can grapple. We don't know, if he's got cardio. We don't know what happens when you take him to deep waters. We basically just know that he's a big, strong Brazilian, which we already knew coming into this.
6'7".
Yeah, general information we already knew coming into this.
Let's get to our title fights here now, Mex, where we got treated to a dominant performance by Weili Zhang, who lost the first round to Tatiana Suarez and then put on an absolute clinic for the next four.
Yeah, we see Tatiana come out. She was the bigger fighter. Like we said, she tried to implement that ground game, took her down. It's what we expected. Obviously that's what Tatiana's done to everyone. But Weili Zhang's ability to move on the ground, to create scrambles, to get in her guard, and just be the more active person ultimately is what won her this fight. Because Tatiana got on top and did nothing. She just smothered her. Didn't threaten with any submissions, didn't really pass her guard, didn't drop elbows, didn't land a ton of strikes. It was kind of just like, I held you down for 4 minutes.
Yeah.
And that's kind of why she got the decision in the first round.
Yeah, and then obviously you go to these rounds 2 through 5. It's every time Tatiana Suarez tried to shoot for a takedown, Weili Zhang was there to stop it, not let it get taken back down. She was winning on the feet in the striking exchanges. And when it did get to the ground, now Weili Zhang was the one on top, trying to put her into finishing positions or landing some ground and pound strike, just stuff Tatiana didn't do when she had the chance in the first.
Yeah, we saw great wrestling from Zhang. She, I think, got adjusted and acquainted, was more comfortable with the body size. She got settled. Underhooks, even hit a dirty chin whip that dropped Tatiana straight to her back. Just the creative ability, the non-stop motion is also what helped her succeed. She never took any position and just stayed there and waited. She always was constantly fighting, trying to dig an underhook, trying to circle, trying to get herself in a better position when Tatiana seemed to be just trying to lay on a leg and hoping she would go down.
Yeah, Weili Zhang easily the best women's fighter in that 115 division. Yeah. Maybe in all the number one pound for pound women's fighter.
And Uncle Dana knows what fight we want to see next in the women's division, Caden.
Give us her and Valentina Shevchenko.
Yes, at 125 pounds, I think that'll be a banger fight. And I think that's one where we see two girls stand and trade. And I am just ultimately super excited. I think that's the fight the women's division needs right now. We need, two proven women to go out who have all the skill sets and to compete. But credit to Weili Zhang because she put on a masterclass.
Yep. Now, our main event of the night, Dricus du Plessis and Sean Strickland, where DDP gets the decision. And, it was an enjoyable, good fight.
It was a good fight.
Sean just didn't do anything.
Correct. And I mean, that's the Sean Strickland for you. I mean, we said it come in. He's going to jab, he's going to teep, and he's going to back away. Yep. And ultimately, Drake has hunted him down, circled around the octagon, and when he got his chances, he lit up Strickland. And not only did he light him up, he cracked him and shattered that nose, Caden.
Oh.
One of the most gnarliest nose breaks in recent memory. I mean, there hasn't been one in a UFC card like that since, I don't know, it's been a while.
It's been a very long time
since we've seen a nasty nose break. But as tough as Sean Strickland is, he popped that thing right back into place. And credit to him, he never went down. I mean, there was a few of those punches after the break that cracked him clean, and he could have went down. He could have pulled the Tafa if he wanted to, right? He could have gave up. He didn't, and that's a credit to him. But we also just didn't see, like you said, the fire, him, dig deep in order to go chase that title. It just didn't seem like he wanted it as bad as DDP.
Well, I mean, yeah, you hear his coach in between everyone, like, we need to start applying more pressure. You need to start getting more active. And going into that 5th round, he's like, yeah, you need a finish here. And Jared's like, yeah, I popped my nose back in place.
It's cool.
Okay. But, like, you're down. You need a
knockout.
4 rounds to none right here, probably. You need to get a knockout here if you want to get your belt back. And he didn't really try until the last about 20 seconds of the fight.
And not only that, he was almost like dismissive of his coach. He's like, I know. I don't know. Looking away, not trying to listen. I don't know what it was, Caden. I don't know if it was just nerves getting to him, if DDP's awkward style was just too awkward.
Very awkward fighter.
Struggles for Strickland, and now he's 0-2 against the champ, and I don't know what's next for a guy who's up in age.
Yeah, I don't know. All I know is it is time, Uncle Dana. Give us Khamzat Chimaev fighting for that belt against DDP, and let the reign of Khamzat start.
It's going to happen. Don't try to stop it. We've been saying it on this podcast since we created it. Khamzat will be champion. Let's pull up our clip from 2020 when we said that. Here.
Oh, yeah, apart from one of the first episodes, we were talking about him when he had 2 KOs in 10 days.
10 days.
Khamzat is that guy. He is going to, I don't know what they'll set the lines at. If somehow DDP's a favorite, that is just a straight hammer on Khamzat. I mean, DDP's a great fighter and all. He looked dominant against Sean Strickland. He's one of the best in the mid, probably.
And he could grapple. Yeah. He could do everything.
He's no Khamzat Chimaev, though.
As always, Caden, the fight game's the best game. And now that football's wrapping up, we're going to get 11 straight weeks of heaters, some fight nights. We'll probably be talking about those with the pod. But are there any last comments, questions, or concerns before we wrap up?
Yeah, make sure you guys like this video, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel if you are new, turn on post notifications so you never miss an upload from us. Follow all of our social medias and check out the website at theuntouchaballs.wordpress.com.
Most definitely. We thank you all for listening, and we'll see you all next time.